morning, everybody. And we are here. And as you can see, back by popular demand, Sean Miller. Sean, good to have you back.
Yeah.
I know you're playing hurt, and that means something,
After a bag of IV taken in yesterday, we're still here. So we'll see.
That's the key.
Usually feel better the next day, so we'll see how I feel today.
We're hoping. Okay. So while you were gone yesterday, we talked a little bit about what was going on in the Premier League, and also a little bit about the exit of Mr. Brady and the Bucks from the playoffs, and so just a little bit of everything yesterday. So today, what's going on the soccer front? I know that there's at least 3 or 4 games that might be worth paying attention to.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with my team. Manchester United, they're on fire right now, and they have a massive game Sunday at Arsenal. But before they get to that point, they got a tough game in London and South London at Crystal Palace today, and it's a midweek match. It's a rearranged match from it was either from the Queen's death or one of those things.
It was the Queen's death.
Yeah, they have one more with Leeds. They have to move somewhere, so they're still trying to find a place for that. Some of these other teams, Arsenal right now is going to have. Let me show you this run Arsenal's going to have here, because coming into I think for teams like Manchester United and Manchester City and Newcastle, you just got to stick around. They play City on the 15th of February, but when you go to April, Saturday, April 8th at Liverpool, Saturday, April 15th at West Ham, Saturday, April 27th at Southampton, team who's probably trying to survive, Wednesday the 26th midweek, City, then Chelsea, then Newcastle, then Brighton. And all these are going to be intertwined with games possibly in the Europa League and in the FA Cup as well. So for teams like these 3 right here, Manchester United, Manchester City, and Newcastle, you got to just kind of try to stay in striking distance. So for United, if they could go to Crystal Palace today and win and get to 41 points and then beat Arsenal on Sunday, tall task. But they're the only team that has beaten Arsenal in the league right now. So, all of a sudden, they're 3 points back of Arsenal, and they will have already played Manchester City. United have already played Manchester City twice. They will have played Arsenal twice. So, they play Newcastle at some point. But, they're in a race now. And they haven't been in the title race in a long time. But if they go to Crystal Palace and drop points today and then lose or drop points on Sunday, all of a sudden this run that they've done to get back into it is kind of, the train is kind of slowed down a little bit. So I think it's a massive game. It's interesting because, they have 2 players on 4 yellow cards. And yellow cards, if you get 5 yellow cards in the first half of the season, 19 games, you're suspended for a game. So Casemiro and Fred would be suspended if they get a yellow today. So people are saying maybe don't play them. But at the same time, I think you have to win the game in front of you before you get to the game on the weekend. So it's a huge game for United. It's a huge game for the Premier League. There's all the talk of the new owners coming in for Manchester United and maybe a partial sale for Liverpool. Maybe FSG keeps control and they buy into it or something like this. But I know Foxy will disagree with this, but I think the league needs Manchester United to be good. It's like the NFL. They kind of need the Cowboys and the, certain teams.
Yeah, you need the legacy teams.
Tom Brady to be good. 40, the league is better, when the Yankees are good, but maybe not winning. Yankees maybe not winning it. If United is good, winning some cups or something like this, it's big. I mean, for the press in England especially, it's Manchester United and everybody else. Like, there's nobody that sells papers like Manchester United. Everybody hates them in the country because of all the success they've had. So I think Liverpool's a distant second there, and then there's some teams. But so it's a huge game there, and that's really the only game in the Premier League. But when you look at some of these other games today, there's a FA Cup, Leeds United against Cardiff City. Leeds, Jesse Marsh, a little bit of trouble. They're talking about maybe he has to turn it around pretty quickly. And then, of course, Amedeus' big game today, AC Milan and Inter. The two Milan teams will play in the Italian Super Cup, which is always a big game. And, then they have the Copa del Rey. There's some big games today and tomorrow in the Copa del Rey. And, other than that, you got Scotland and stuff. But, I think we've kind of talked about this a lot, where there's, after the World Cup, it's just going to be wall-to-wall action until we get to that first international break at the end of March. I mean, there's going to be games every day.
There's a very interesting situation with regard to the U.S. women's national team. And they're going to be playing, I believe it's Friday, which would actually be Saturday where they're playing, which is they're going to play a friendly against the folks down in why am I blanking? They're playing
they play New Zealand.
New Zealand.
They played New Zealand yesterday, and then they're going to play them again. Yeah.
Right. It's an HBO Max now, because soccer has moved. The national teams, both men and women, are now on TNT and HBO Max. So it'll be the first soccer game it'll be the first sporting event of many to come on HBO Max, and they're actually going to drop HBO and call it just Max very, very soon. But that'll be coming up. Now, you were talking about teams like Manchester United being good, which helps, the league. You try to explain it to people, and the reason why, is you may not know, and I'm saying about this, the average sports fan may not know anything about European soccer at all, but Manchester United.
Yes.
So if you watch Manchester United play, on a Saturday or whatever, you suddenly begin to find out about other teams, and you learn about the league, and you learn about everything else, and you may become a Manchester United fan, or conversely, you might find a team that you like even better. But that's why you have to have these legacy teams, like we said before. Somebody may be tuning in to watch a Dallas Cowboys game. Dallas hasn't been in the Super Bowl since the 90s, but it doesn't matter. They have to be relevant. I think that's key. The other thing is it brings the casual fan. And there's nothing better than having, the casual fan involved, because the casual fan eventually becomes a fan. And so one way or the other, as you say, and I agree wholeheartedly, you have to have Manchester United be successful, because at the end of the day, it's better for everybody.
Good morning, Bill. How you doing? Fading Notre Dame worked out well today.
Yeah.
Manchester United and over 1.5. Rashford to score and sprinkled Zaha to score. Yeah, look, Bill, I think, when you look at the Premier League table here, Crystal Palace is, they're on 22 points. They're probably going to be safe. I just think they're too talented, to be honest, to go anywhere. But, at the same time, they have to play the game today, and then they have Newcastle on Saturday at home. So, at some point, you'd imagine there's going to be a little rotation after they just played on Sunday. So, Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, they're a tough game with Chelsea. So, I would think there's going to be a little rotation for Crystal Palace. Obviously, United will rotate. So, to me, the who has the stronger reserves, that's United, just the way United's playing. And Notre Dame, yeah, look, I mean, they've been atrocious in the ACC. I mean, they're 1-7 in the ACC here, and they've lost 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of their last 10 games. And their one win over the last basically month and a half is, they beat Boston University, terrible, and they lost, and they beat Jacksonville, and they beat Georgia Tech. That's their only wins going back to like the beginning of December. So, and the Georgia Tech win was by 1. So yeah, they're not playing well. They're not very good. The schedule last night, I mean, it was pretty interesting. You saw where'd they go? Top 25. Well, Houston is clearly the top team in the country. Kansas lost at Kansas State. All of a sudden now Kansas State is 16-2. And with the same record as Kansas, and I think they were 13. There's Foxy. Good luck to Crystal Palace today, right? Bill leads today. Yeah, look, I think we'll kind of get into that. You just have to see who they're going to play. But
I'm just going to say, Kansas State has probably been one of the most surprising teams in college basketball. They and your buddy Bobby Hurley's team at Arizona State. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Yeah, they are. I mean, you look at the Pac-12 standings here. I mean, Arizona State's 15-3. UCLA's unbeaten at 7-0 in the conference.
And they play each other tomorrow night.
Yeah. And you look at the Big 12 right now. Kansas State is 5-1, 16-2. Kansas 5-1, 16-2. Iowa State 5-1, 14-3. Texas 4-2, 15-3. TCU 3-2, 14-3. Baylor's 13-5. I mean,
it took you 5 teams to get the Baylor.
Yeah. The national champion. Look, there's a reason the national champions come from this league now. I mean, this Southern basketball has become absolutely ridiculous. Southern Kansas was a thriller. So it's become pretty good. The ACC is very competitive as well. Clemson still leads it, which is pretty surprising as well. But I think that'll start to kind of shake out. So we'll see. But yeah, there's some pretty good races here, all up and down. When you look at the FA Cup results from yesterday, let me pull that back up. There was Birmingham City. I like them. They won. Bristol City won in extra time over Swansea. Luton Town scored in the 90+9. Liverpool got lucky. They shouldn't even be in the tournament at this point. They really got, they should have got knocked out in the first leg. They perfectly good goal. They got through. They're still a mess. So today, I just think when you look at this, Bill, just, Leeds is -315. You just make sure they're playing a full strength. I mean, Foxy will kind of back that up a little bit. Cardiff isn't great, but if Leeds plays a weakened lineup, it could be a surprise. But Leeds should win the game. So we'll see. I know they have some new people they're announcing today. So but it's interesting. And the other where is it?
The game that you're looking at?
Copa Italia. I was trying to. Is that the Super Cup? That's the Super Cup. So AC Milan and Inter in the Super Cup today. I couldn't tell you which way to go with that.
Both of them are pretty inconsistent.
Yeah, and it's just it's a Super Cup. You don't know who's going to play. I don't know. So it's a tough game. I mean, maybe there's going to be some goals, but yeah, there's some interesting games, and hopefully United can get 3 points here and jump back ahead of the best team in the league, Newcastle. The only one loss. They're all the pressure's on Newcastle now. Foxy, you keep winning games.
Does that surprise you?
I mean, they're the complete opposite. I know when they were last year at this point, they were 1 win, 8 draws, and 10 losses. They didn't win a game after 14. They had 7 losses and 7 draws after 14 games last year, and then Eddie Howe came in. So Eddie Howe was good last year. I thought Newcastle was a pretty good value play, top 6 and at top 4 before the season. I think we talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
I just thought they were going to spend some money. Cardiff fighting to stay up in the championship. Interested to see how they approach that game. Leeds should win, but depends on who they rest. Foxy says, look at Napoli today. So Napoli will be playing in the – look at Napoli. Yeah, sorry, in the way they played in the cup. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you just don't know who they're going to play there. So, Bill, I would say just wait to see, maybe closer to the game. But if Leeds plays strong night, they should win that game. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, there's a lot of different stories going on today, and you got the football coming up, which is probably start taking over the media cycle going into Saturday.
In some regards, it already has.
Yeah, it's. I took both teams to score versus Inter. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, the Cowboys are sticking with the kicker. The Chargers are keeping their head coach but firing everybody else, which is great for everybody else in the AFC. They'll never win with that guy in charge. But this weekend's schedule, I think, Saturday, Jacksonville, Kansas City, the first game. I think no one in the world expects Jacksonville to win that game.
Nobody in Jacksonville expects it.
Probably why they put it at 4:30 on Saturday,
right?
And not in the 2 prime.
It's definitely not a primetime game.
Yeah. Jacksonville got their primetime game last week.
Right.
And of course, the Eagles and Giants are going to be in primetime. I think that's actually going to be
That's a Sunday game.
No, Saturday night.
I thought they. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Saturday 8:15. Sunday is Dallas, San Francisco, Sunday night, and then Buffalo, Cincinnati is the 3 o'clock. So, Sunday clearly the better games, I think.
You've got 3 NFC East teams in the playoffs, and I think that's kind of an interesting situation that the NFC East had a good season, clearly, but to have them all at the same time in the left in the playoffs is good. And then you've got a kid in Brock Purdy who nobody knew was going to even be on the team, let alone quarterbacking the team in the playoffs. So a lot of storylines in that one.
Yeah, Bill said he's thinking about taking the Cowboys. Yeah, Bill, look, I would think, Cowboys on the +3.5 or Cowboys money line, is a decent value play. I mean, I'm on the 49ers. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I've said that for a while. This guy Purdy's been unbelievable, but is he immune to a little pressure? You just don't know at this point. The Cowboys, the way they looked the other day, if they play like that, I don't necessarily trust them to do that, but I think that play is pretty interesting, Bill.
Here's what I would I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I could see them winning that game. I definitely could see the Cowboys. I mean, I don't see any way the Jaguars beat the Chiefs.
No.
And I don't think the
But is
Giants.
that a big line?
Yeah, 9.
Yeah, that's way too much in playoffs.
Eagles are 7.5. I just don't think the Giants can score
Eagles
enough.
7.5 over the Giants.
Yeah, I don't.
I would have thought that would have been closer too.
Yeah, that line, maybe it'll move down closer to the game. I mean, I think maybe the Giants can't score enough, but we'll see. I don't know how healthy Hurts is. They say he's 100%, but we'll see. The Bills and Bengals, who knows? Bills are 4.5. I don't understand, to be honest. I mean,
That's a toss-up.
Yeah, so it's, to me, I mean, that's a good game. And then,
I would say that here's the thing: that a couple of stats on the Cowboys. First of all, the game that they beat the Bucs was the first time they've won a playoff game since 1992. So it's been a minute. And let me just say that I'm not downing on the Cowboys. I'm just saying that here's the thing with that game. Brady played horrific. Everybody stayed within defensive-wise. They didn't throw the ball down the field. They threw. I think the longest pass they had was like it was like an 8-yard pass, but it was run after catch, right? So like 15, 20 yards. They did not. Dallas didn't have to worry about anybody throwing deep on them, and I think that was something that helped the defense. Then the Buccaneers got behind so quickly and stayed behind so quickly. And they had to press on defense, so they're taking chances. Started taking chances. If you take chances, you make mistakes. They did. And so I'm not so sure that Dallas was as good as they looked, because I know that Tampa Bay was not a good football team and played like it. And so, is it fool's gold that they won? No, they won. They probably would have won straight up. But whether or not they can beat the 49ers at Levi Stadium, Sean, you've been on the Niners all year long.
I doubt it. I don't think so. I mean, I just think this 49ers team is really, really good all over the field. So,
well, they're balanced. I mean,
they're very.
You got Christian McCaffrey. You got, you got this kid Purdy's playing well, but he's got so many weapons around him, and then they're a good defense.
That's the thing. Their defense, I think, is good.
So it should be fun. That's an old rivalry game, because in the 90s, that used to be whoever won that game ended up going to the Super Bowl, because it was Bill Walsh and Jimmy Johnson facing each other. Then it was Sifford and Johnson, and then they had some really good football teams, both of those teams in the 90s. So, but it ain't the 90s now. So let's see.
Yeah, that's right. Bill's talking about the Jaguars plus the points. Kansas City doesn't cover big spreads. You're right, Bill. They don't. They're not very good against the spread. They're just worried about winning the game. I'd be interested to see how the Jaguars. This is a huge step up. I mean, it's like a horse race.
Yeah,
stepping up into a stakes race.
Well, you can't fall. You can't do this. You cannot fall 27 points behind. Kansas City wouldn't expect to get
they'll beat them. Yeah, the Chiefs will beat them 55-0 if they do that. Right. Foxy, big 650, 650 on Sal Cateno. Look, really good value in these state Brazilian leagues with the big teams mix up. I think that's one of the cool things about the Brazilian league. They play. Foxy, I mean, you tell me. I think it's like for a couple months, right? They play in their basically states, and they play the little teams, play the big teams, and it's the Paulista too, and some of these other ones. So it's cool. You got some of the big boys playing up against some of the little teams, and it's really cool. They mix it up, but there's some good value. Some of the teams, like Foxy said, they'll mix lineups with youth players, because it's like spring training, or like when the Premier League teams go on tour in the summer. So it's pretty cool. Like, but they're still leagues, so teams the teams are taking them relatively seriously. So there's a lot of those games every day. Police to A1, A2. Baino, or all the names. I mean, there's so many games every day on there. I'm going to go with a team called Crack against Villanova. Villanova and Crack.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah. Look, I look at, I would say, if you're looking for plays like that, go follow Foxy on Twitter, AleFox. He's very good when he's not crying about the referees and the game.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's usually it's pretty cool. I mean, it starts around April. Like it's basically it's like a month after the MLS starts, but you have these, this other league, and they play these games. It's really cool. I really like the way they do it. In the MLS, it would be like, if they were playing, if the Union were playing, I think Real Central New Jersey, and the Jackson team, and
some of the teams from the USL.
Yeah, USL 2. So you play those teams, Lehigh Valley, those teams that are around you. So it's pretty cool.
Well, I would think it would be fun to see it, just because you're getting to look at some people that the big boys get to play. The little guys get to play the big guys.
That's right. Yep.
Which makes it fun. I mean, there's nothing better than to see, your team have a chance at an upset. So,
there's some big games. Thursday you got City's playing Tottenham. You got Barcelona playing in the Copa del Rey against a little team, Villarreal, playing Real Madrid again in the Copa del Rey. And then you got Friday. You got finally the return of the Bundesliga, RB Leipzig and Bayern Munich. Oh, Bill might do a money line parlay with the Bills in Philly. Sean Miller taught me that, right? I would say, let me see something here. Money line 455 and 355. You could also maybe do Chiefs -6. I'll do Chiefs -5 just because, and Eagles -3, and that plays +113. So Chiefs -5, Eagles -3 pays -113 here, Bill. So you could do that right here. You could probably even get it down to Chiefs -3 and probably get a decent value. But yeah, with the favorites here, I don't think, the Chiefs probably aren't going to lose. I mean, the Chiefs aren't going to lose, whether it's 7 points or whatever. I don't think the Eagles are going to lose. It might, whether it's 5 points or 20. I think the Giants will probably try to keep it close. It's a divisional game. They're not going to be scared going in there. But, I can't imagine the Eagles losing that game. So you do something like that. But, yeah, money line's always good as well. So
yeah, and the thing is, how many times – I mean, the Eagles and the Giants scrimmage together in the offseason, and then they play each other, 2 times a year.
Yeah.
There's nothing that the Eagles are going to do that's going to surprise the Giants, and there's nothing the Giants are going to do that's going to surprise you. So,
Yep.
I think that what it does is it makes for a fun game, because, whoever's solid that day doing their game plan usually will pull it out. Because we talked about it last week about, teams playing Seattle when Seattle played against the 49ers. That's the 3rd time they played each other. We had a couple of teams, Jacksonville and the Chargers. That was the 2nd time they played each other. Early in the season. So, the old familiarity builds contempt. I don't know, but we'll see. But no, I mean, look, Philadelphia is the best team in the conference till proven otherwise.
That's right.
So we'll see. What do you think about about Rodgers and Brady. Are they going to retire? Are they going to move on? Is Rodgers
Brady has to, I think, at this point. I would imagine Brady does. Rodgers, I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory. Yeah, I think, Bill, that's everybody. That's the big thing, I think, just the hype around it and what he's going to do. It'd be interesting, though. Look, this Cincinnati team, I think they're a little bit mad that they didn't get a chance to beat them for home field in this game. They were already leading that game, so I think Cincinnati's going to have a little bit to say. But I think
there's actually a possible neutral site in Atlanta for the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
So you have to be careful in that regard because you may end up playing in a game where you don't get any home fans.
Foxy says sometimes he watches that Pat McAfee show. He comes across well on there. I think he's going to probably. If I was him, I don't know. He could go be a. Brady has a career in the booth. We already know that. He's already got the deal.
$350 million.
Yeah, so that's already there. He's going to do that. Rodgers, whether he does that or he goes and hangs out with his the girl or whatever, whatever he does, his girlfriend or whatever, and just retires. I think Brady definitely does. Rodgers, he's really hard to read. He could come back maybe somewhere else, but I don't know.
There's you'd have to compensate Green Bay.
Yeah, what are you gonna You're gonna move now and change your whole. I just don't get. I don't know. I think I would lean towards them both retiring, but
yeah, we'll see. It should be interesting. By the way, in the Daily Mail this morning, there was reports that the Premier League rights, of course, are up, and it looks like Apple TV Plus is pushing big time to get the rights, and so we should see how that plays out. We know that they got the MLS rights here in the United States. They would not have that. By the way, that would not mean that Apple TV Plus in the US would be.
Yeah, that's in England.
Yeah, that's only for the English rights. As NBC will continue, Comcast NBC will continue to have the rights here, and I would imagine that if anybody helps, tries to get in there and basically be a second tier rights holder, would probably be Amazon, because with all the soccer that Apple TV Plus has, plus they have baseball, plus they are looking at some NBA stuff. I would think they would be happy and lucky, frankly, to get the UK rights to the Premier League. That would be a big coup for them.
That's right. Yeah, it's yeah.
Because it's on Sky right now.
Yeah, it's on BT and Sky and all this stuff, and you kind of sometimes hear people complain because over there. I mean, Foxy probably could talk more about it, but you have to buy all these different subscriptions to do this stuff. To buy, it's like that here. I mean, my Apple TV Plus is I renewed it last night, and I have Peacock and all this stuff, but I also have the other stuff as well. So I haven't had cable in forever. I had football, but they never they turned it off, and nobody ever calls me back. So or nobody ever emails me back about it. So I guess that's been done for like a month and a half now. So better off teams getting individual packages so you can watch every game for the team you support. Sometimes it's impossible watching some Newcastle games, even more difficult in the UK.
It's to Foxy's point there. what they do here in the United States with the National Football League is they have an NFL season ticket, and so you get every game, and you get, if you want to watch your team, obviously you'll have that opportunity, but you also get to watch all the others as well, and so that's possible. I do see somewhere down the road here, not too distant future, that the local teams will have. I'm talking about maybe basketball, football, or not basketball, baseball, will have their local games on selling to a streaming audience. They just have to clear the specific contract right now to do it because the contracts all give um, the cable owners the right to hold. For instance, Bally's is a large regional sports network here in the U.S. along with NBC as their regionals, like in Philadelphia, they have their regional. And so the key is, could you buy local games on your regional cable? Uh, yeah, the answer is yeah. Streaming wise, it will happen. They got to clear 2 years of old contracts. So in 2023, by 2025, you should be able to get that done. So now, whether or not they do it in Europe, I have no clue. I would think they want to do it, wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't you think that somebody would want to buy a subscription to Man United and now, so you could watch every game whenever you wanted to?
Yeah, I mean that's MUTV does well, and I think so. I think that would be the next way to go.
Bill's looking. Bill's
the
looking.
MLB does with the MLB package and the way they do it.
Yeah, they did a very good job. 8 points versus Marquette. Where is the game? Is that game at Providence?
Bill, what does Bulu the Capping Guru have to say about that? He's been on there. I saw you were on there the other day. It's at Marquette.
Okay, so it's in Milwaukee.
Yeah. Interesting game. I like Providence a little bit. Yeah. I think Providence is pretty good.
Providence is good. It's
a little bit of a high line, Bill. I agree.
If I went down like 4 or 5, I'd say that'd be great. But that's a lot. It's a lot of points to give Marquette at home.
Xavier's 7.5 at the poll tonight as well. Xavier's top, obviously, by the guy who stole my name, Sean Miller. Look, there's some interesting games on the schedule tonight. So
let me take a quick look. I think Providence has played well, so I'm not down it on Providence. That's just a lot of points to give on the road.
Yes, I agree.
That's
if you're interested, just quick shout. If you're interested in college basketball, make sure you tune in at 6:00 every night. The Guru, the Capping Guru. He's been he's out there making his picks every day. So he's doing
6:00 Eastern time.
6:00 Eastern. Bill, once again I saw you were on there, so I know he's been out there. He's picks a lot of games. He gives you a lot of games, a lot of information. I know. So,
and that's what you want. You want to be informed. And he does it at a time at 6:00 where you're not that far away from the opening tip.
Yeah. It goes on there right before tip off, and you get to see, his thoughts on the game. So maybe you might see me pop up on one of those shows pretty soon. So
there you go. Just passing by, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you never know. Just dropping by on the way through town. Let me take a quick look at the docket tonight for Decent College.
Yeah, Bill. He's got a system. He's I'm trying to get him to kind of cut down on his plays a little bit. But he does have a system. If you like bet college basketball, he finds these weird games and finds this game should be +4, +7 or something like this. So he finds lines or something like this. So he's pretty good at that.
TCU's at West Virginia tonight. That's an interesting game.
Yeah, the top 25 schedule. I mean, most of them are the UConn, Seton Hall, at the Rock, Xavier, DePaul, Providence, Marquette. Arkansas is playing Missouri. They've been struggling a little bit. Arkansas is still in the top 25. Auburn, LSU, TCU, West Virginia. West Virginia is always a tough place to play. Look, TCU is 14-3 right now. West Virginia is 0-5 in the Big 12, and West Virginia's favored at home. And that should be like
a flashing light.
Yeah, that should be an alarm bell for you right there. Like, why are they only -2.5? Virginia's -6 today at home against the 0-4 Virginia Tech team and on the road. So, it's interesting.
Well, the other thing too is playing against West Virginia at West Virginia is always tough.
Brutal. It's hard. West Virginia is a tough place.
Morgantown. I don't care. I'm going to give people credit for this. The state of West Virginia, that sports group, the University of West Virginia, they're followed like a pro team. I mean, there's everybody in that damn state knows what's going on at West Virginia, and they're all wearing the blue and gold jerseys and all the other stuff. I mean, they really come out. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to win. It just means the support is always there. And having done games in Morgantown, man, they make it hell on the opponents. They just do not make it fun. And, the other thing is Huggins. Bobby Huggins. Oh, man.
Tough.
Oh, he's a defensive maniac.
That's right.
So, he may not even care about scoring 55, 60 points because his goal is, hell, if it's up to Bob, he'd try to shut you out.
That's right.
So it's thank God the four corners are not here any still, because Bob would have the four corners going crazy. But West Virginia's a fun team. TCU has to go all the way up there to play. That's gonna be fun. We'll see. It's an ESPN game tonight, so take a look at it. Watch out. So there you go. What else? Anybody got any more of these questions? Billy's got. Notice that in college basketball, it's the tale of two halves a lot. It's like Georgia.
Georgia plus 11, and they got killed in the second half. Yeah, look, I think when you're the better team, sometimes on the road, maybe they, it's a tough game, but the better teams over the course of 40 minutes usually, the worst teams regress towards the mean, blah blah blah, whatever that is, however you say that. But
well, there's also a lot of runs in college basketball where you'll miss a couple of shots and your opposition will get hot and they'll hit some shots real quick, and suddenly you've gone from 2 points up to 8 points down. But the good teams, like you said, Sean, the good teams, they make the adjustments and they figure out a way to win, and they even figure out a way to win when they're not playing well. So that's what you have to watch for. Start looking for. We're getting up close here to February. I just saw Joe Lenardi's bracketology bit, and then everybody's got one. There's a ton of them out there, and there's a lot of schools that you wouldn't expect to be there in Joe's first list. Check out those lists. Check out who's playing well at home, and see how it plays out. But TCU on the road at West Virginia, that's I wouldn't bet against TCU, but man, it's tough to look at for West Virginia and say that they're giving point. You said TCU's. What's TCU's spread on that game?
TCU.
Are they getting points? Did I hear you right?
I just where's the line? TCU is getting 2.5. Yeah.
Huh, that's wild.
I
So
know.
the number 11 team in the country is getting 2.5 points on the road to West Virginia. That's a wonky line, buddy. Something's going on here.
I know. That's, to me, when you see stuff like that, you got to kind of take note because
You look for another game is what you do.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So you absolutely don't you be looking for another game. Any other questions, boys and girls out there? We got a little time here. I see nothing. Okay, Foxy better off. Team control packages. Yeah, we're talking about that. And we just found out that one of the richest men in the UK is back talking to the Glazers about buying Man United. I don't think he'll get it, but it's an interesting return for him to be involved. I didn't see that coming. I thought he was already out of it, but evidently he's coming back to give it a whirl. And, it's going to cost a lot of money, that's for sure.
That's right.
So you're looking. I'm thinking it's probably going to be a 7 or an 8 in front of that. In front of the change on that thing. That's not going to be cheap. So we'll see about that. Well, if there is no more questions, Sean, any final thoughts as we get ready to get out of town here on the?
No, I just gotta make sure we get a victory tonight to get ahead of the juggernaut Newcastle, owned by the richest country and richest team in the world. You know, we got to get back ahead of them and keep this underdog story staying ahead of the richest team in the world.
Right.
Going.
This little ragtag group
that doesn't want to spend any money is going to be ahead of Newcastle United, the richest team in the world. Bill, go Manchester United and Providence. There you go. That's right.
Man U and Providence. Yeah, you take that. Come back and tell us how it worked out for you.
Right.
Bill, it's always a pleasure. Foxy, it's always a pleasure. Everybody, thanks for dropping by. We will see you 9 a.m. tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Until then, for Sean, Amedeus and Tears on assignment, I'm Jim Williams saying so long. We'll see you tomorrow.